When you are just starting, it feels like you can do something wrong everywhere. But the biggest mistakes are not choosing a wrong filter or light. I have put together a list of the 3 mistakes you absolutely want to avoid. And spoiler, I made all of them myself. I would call the first one something like losing track of your motivation. So this one is actually about your mindset. If you research nowadays, you will get 20 different ways and opinions that all claim that you can only do things their way. Some tell you that you can only grow aquatic plants with CO2 injection, others tell you that a no water change dirted tank is the only way to go. The truth is, there is no such thing as the correct way. There are always multiple ways to do things, and you will have to find the right one for you. When I started this hobby about 6 years ago, I knew I wanted to go into the planted tank direction. But I also wanted to save money and not buy an expensive light and a CO2 system. So I tried to achieve my goal without these things, and it only worked moderately well, I would say. And in the end, I bought a CO2 system and better lighting after 1.5 years. So if you want to start this hobby, be very clear why you want to do that. If you just want some plants and fish, you might not need a CO2 injection, for example. However, if you want to have an Amano-style Iwagumi, there's no real way to do this low-tech, and you should be very clear about this. Because if you don't, in most cases, one of the following 2 things happens. Either you start to make compromises and changes to your plan because it saves money and seems easier. Make sure that you constantly check if you are still planning the tank that you really want. The second thing that might happen is that you stick to your goal, but you try to find an easier way to get there, most often by saving money on the equipment. This will probably not make you happy in the end, because you will try to get the same result with less effort, which almost never works. Now, this does not mean that you should spend a crazy amount of money. I will tell you more about how you can save money right now, because this is the second mistake. Saving money on the wrong things. I will give you the biggest trick right at the start. Go smaller. With today's equipment and possibilities of research, it is absolutely possible to start with a nano tank. I will give you an example. Let's say we want an ADA aquarium, Chihiro's A-series lighting and a big enough filter. For example, the JBL E-series. From the money saved with the downsizing from a 60p to a Mini M, you could easily buy a CO2 system. And you would also save quite some money on soil, plants and hardscape. Of course, it depends on your goal if going smaller is an option for you. If you want to have a certain animal or layout type, this might not be the case. Then you might want to save on the equipment. But there are some things I would definitely not save on. I would definitely try to get a CO2 system, if your goal requires it. I would spend the money on a good fertilizer and buy soil, because both these things will give you much better results with your plants. More plants will make it a lot easier to cycle the tank, and some layout ideas are just not possible with less than a certain amount of hardscape. However, decide if you really need an OptiWhite tank for your first project, or if a good quality standard tank might do the job for now. The bigger the tank, the bigger the financial impact of this decision. Getting strong aquarium lighting is not really expensive today, and if you need a lot of light, just buy the A-series from Chihiro's. They are really good and strong enough for almost everything. And stay away from RGB lighting and controllable stuff for now. You can always upgrade later. And for filtration, you might not need an Oasis filter or another expensive brand product. An Eden filter from Amazon might be enough as well. This is also a part of the third mistake. Don't focus too much on getting the perfect equipment. Your aquarium will not fail because your filter isn't the perfect size. It will rather fail because you didn't spend the time researching important things like algae, plant demands and fertilization. So focus on learning the important aspects of the hobby. Things you should know about are how to cycle a tank, what do plants need to grow, how does filtration work, and so on. And most important, find your own way. Don't just do things different because someone told you it's better, myself included. Learn the basics and be clear on what you want, then determine what you need to get there and stick with that. I'll see you in the next one.